Hello, Facebook Live, family and friends. It's Gina Tabrizy. Hi, at Ask Gina. Harmony Heals Detox and Rehab. This is so awesome. Thursday night, it comes a lot faster than I expected. So sometimes it's just a blur, one day to the next. I know you guys probably feel that way too. If you're out there working and hustling, trying to build a life for yourself or a new career or taking care of kids or schlepping kids around or starting a new life. And then it's so, hi Elise, you're my first person to check in. I love it. It's hard, man. Life goes by fast like this. It's been crazy. I've done some different things this week with work and meeting different people and different opportunities that have come up, and some of those are really amazing and powerful and scary. I don't know how you guys feel, but when new opportunities come to you, you know, sometimes you're excited and you want to change, and other times you're just in fear, you know, like, oh my God, can I handle this? Like a new job or a new relationship even. So I chose a topic tonight about unhealthy relationships because I hear about those and I've experienced those myself quite a bit. And I thought it would be good for us to get some dialogue going. So if you're just tuning in for the first time, this is Ask Gina, and I'm Gina Tabrizy. Hi, Kelly. And we're doing this Facebook Live. I started it, hi, Deborah, as a public service. And good. Elisa gets a rush from new opportunities. I do too, but sometimes it can be really intimidating. So if you're just tuning in, I want to say hi, want to welcome, have dialogue and conversation with you. I'm pretty good about responding, although I get lost in the stream of comments and questions and I can't always keep up. So I'll always go back after the live and check in and respond to you and your comments. Hello, Rajesh. Hello. So I started this as a public service. Hey, Georgie, to educate, to inform, but also to inspire and to coach people. Although I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and currently I'm also a doctoral student in clinical psychology, I'm acting as just a social media person right now as a coach. So when more serious issues arrive from our, hi Lynn Adams, happy Thursday to you. If intense stuff comes up from your dialogue, like yesterday I was in a group and I kept talking to this woman, and as I was talking to her and trying to pull her out of her shell, hi Mary! I can see your hair when it pops up. Hi, Kathy. Bless you from Dacusville. My cousin Myrna's watching. Hey, Mimi. Didn't you just leave a meeting? Yeah. My program manager's right there with me. I left a meeting at 5:15, and I had to rush here to start this. It's crazy, right? That's how life is. Like, when you feel like you can't do one more thing, well, one more thing is expected of you, and you need to show up for it. That's how opportunities happen. Like, you got to take them, strike while the iron's hot, as they say. Hi, Rajesh. And thank you for saying I'm a superwoman, Mary. And you have to show up when opportunity presents itself. So this has been an opportunity for me. I want to have a dialogue with you guys. And this was my thinking, swear to God. I'm going to do this because I want to reach the person that's in their home, that's never seen a therapist or had bad experiences with therapists or doesn't understand or is afraid and is unclear how this could help them. And I wanted to talk to those people and show you that therapists are real people too and have issues, and we have insight and knowledge and experience and strength and hope that we want to share. And so that's what I'm doing here on Thursday night with y'all. So chime in, send comments, send questions, love, whatever. I'm open to hear from all of you. Tonight we're talking about unhealthy relationships, why we stay. I was thinking of that song, and you all tell me who it is because I'm really bad with song musicians, writers, bands, names and stuff, but it's like one song that came to mind was Should I Stay or Should I Go? That kept playing over and over in my head. And the other one is If You Can't Be with the Ones You Love, Love the Ones You're With. So we'll play Name That Tune and somebody chime in if they know either of those bands or songs or songwriters. But, you know, if you can't be with the one you love, love the one you're with. That one really struck me. Yeah, you guys like that? Well, if you know who it is, let me know. I didn't look them up, so I didn't want to cheat and Google it, but y'all can Google it while I'm talking to you. I had a lot of thoughts and feelings about this. There's something about that statement that really captures your attention. Oh, The Clash, thank you. And thank you. There was the second song too, but I already forgot what it was. So if you remember, tell me about the second one. So when you're in relationship and you're afraid to leave and explore and be in a new relationship, sometimes you hang in there. You can't be with the one you really love, so you love the one you're with. Hey, Beth Collins, there's fear. There's fear of leave and change in any relationship, but change the looking glass. Thank you, Jimmy Quayle. And we all have a fear of change. It is innate in us as human beings. And the issue becomes, how are we going to face that change? And are we going to be brave enough to take the challenge? Crosby, Stills, and Nash. Thank you, Deborah Harris. Love it. I love that you got that. So I love people who can remember musicians and bands and actors and actresses. I'm like always fascinated by that because they go right out of my head. When you're in a bad relationship, sometimes leaving is even more difficult. There's a fear is, if this is bad, oh my God, what if it gets worse? And this is so bad and I'm terrified to leave because the consequences of leaving might be intense. Or the Isley Brothers, I cheated. Good, cheat. I love it. That's an okay time to cheat. Otherwise, we want to work a program of rigorous honesty. So Jimmy Quill, I love oldies. Good. I do too. But it's sticking in my head because I was trying to think about this idea of unhealthy relationships, and people stay and they're like, I can't leave. Have you ever been in a relationship and you felt so trapped that you couldn't leave? Sometimes, unfortunately, that's in a marriage. And there is so much attached. There's children, and there's, like in my case, in my marriage, a negotiation of businesses. And our lives are entrenched with many commitments and things. And so it makes it really hard to leave someone that you've built a life with. But there's a point that all of us know when we're getting it wrong. And I always say to my clients, you always know when you're getting it right, but you always know when you're getting it wrong. And if you're sitting in a relationship that just is wrong for you, you feel it. It's either sucking the life out of you or draining you of life force. It doesn't support your dreams and visions and hope for your world. Maybe you've done a lot together and initially you were really in love. And Elisa says she left when she got sober. Right. And maybe you're in a relationship with another addict or an alcoholic and you get sober, your world turns upside down. That person is not who you thought they were. And you can't look at them at the same way because you're not looking through those beer-covered goggles anymore, right? Kathy, sometimes taking one step towards your future, the other out of your past. Yes. Hi from Alabama. Hi, James. And Laura. Hello, Laura. So sometimes change is good. Change is always good. I'm going to say that right now. Change is always good. Even if you make a wrong decision to move forward, not that it's a wrong decision, but maybe once you make the decision, you're like, wow, I probably shouldn't have gone that route. It's still good. Change is still good because it catapults you into a new version of yourself. You have to learn who you are. You have to decide how to navigate a new situation and how to deal with new people and how to stand on your own 2 feet and how to stand up for yourself, Christopher Ward. So if you're in a bad relationship, you know, because you feel the feeling of being suffocated, you feel controlled, maybe you feel belittled, maybe you feel ignored, maybe you feel like your partner doesn't even know your name anymore because they barely spend any time with you. You've lost attention, affection, love, all of those great things. Stifling, frozen, then it becomes normal, forgetting what normal really is, lost in emotion. Oh, an old song. Beth added an old song there for our relationship issue songs that I was talking about in the beginning that reminded me about this talk. Change is a motivation to make your life better. So you guys chime in and you're commenting and you comment to me and each other and support each other through this. A bad relationship is one where you can't thrive, where your life is not improving, and the feelings you have towards yourself are diminishing. They're getting worse. Your self-esteem starts to be impacted. Why do we stay in healthy relationships? Because we've been trained to. We've been conditioned to. Now, a lot of times my clients do not understand when they get to a point in their life, they're like, look, when I married this woman, out of sight, out of mind, Kathy says, yes. When I married this woman, she was different. Like, she had the whole package and I was totally in love with her, and something has changed through the years. Our vision of our lives, we've grown apart, or bad things have happened, cheating, disrespect, disregard, and things like that. So I'm going to hear from you too, Sherry. Hi, Sherry. I've been hurt so many times that now I have isolated myself. I have tried friendship and dated, but can't handle being lied to and screwed so much. No friends, boyfriends for me. I am now stuck. Okay, you guys, that's a good one to help to comment each other. For Sherry, hey, it's Thursday. Yes, Chris. How do you get out? Anytime you can better yourself, then do so. Yes, Kathy. Lynn Adams, addicts stay in a bad relationship with their drug, right? Oh, hell yeah. And Tanya Brown, hi. Hi, Tanya. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Let's help Sherry out. So, Sherry, it doesn't matter how many times you get out there. I said this to my client today, and I said, look, part of relationship is just having the tenacity to keep showing up. If you give up, nothing changes either. You are isolated. Yes, you're protecting yourself, but in that protection, you're not living the vision of the life that you really wanted. You really wanted to have a relationship with someone. Hola, Tanya. We are built to connect and relate to people and to be a group and to go 2 by 2. And, you know, as they said into Noah's Ark, we're wired that way. We're not wired as singular beings, right? And Georgie, I remember Georgie. Hi, Georgie. I'm glad you're single. And it's okay to be single for periods of your life. That's fabulous. But our dreams, if we really let ourselves know, is everyone wants a companion or a partner. At minimum, we want a friend to walk through life with, to share our experience, strength, hope, our fun with, somebody to celebrate with, somebody to talk to. And when you stay stuck in bad relationships, you can't get there. And when you've been hurt over and over again, it's because there's a part of you that keeps choosing that same person. You keep choosing the same trauma as we speak. When we've been conditioned and learned that we don't deserve better, that men are going to be cheats, women are going to be cheats, no one can be trusted, and we keep repeating that mantra to ourselves, we attract people like that into our lives, and we think it's normal until it's not, until it hurts so bad that we have to get out or we're forced to get out. It's very hard for me sometimes to talk about these things because not everybody thinks of this historically, but you are where you come from. And you are where you've been. That's part of your life story, right? So in relationship, you learned a lot from watching your parents' relationship or the caregivers in your life and how they loved or didn't love each other, how they respected or didn't respect each other. And maybe you had 2 parents that were fabulous, but had no communication, were very distant and very cold and very detached. Maybe you had very abusive, angry parents that fought all the time. Maybe you had 2 parents who were all over each other all the time, and they made that seem like that was real and possible for everyone. But in fact, that maybe is the exception to the rule. Yes, love and affection should be part of everyday relationship, but not all of us grew up seeing those examples. So if you grew up and you were watching your parents fight all the time, you know, they loved each other, but part of their routine was just to fight and just to argue all the time, then you grew up with this belief that I have to have chaos in my relationship to relate. Do you hear me on that one? So you guys chime in. It's Thursday, Chris. I knew that. All Chris are generally geniuses. Yes. James. Hi, James. So true. And Chris is in Texas. And Laura, I was married for 20 years. He left when I became leader dogs for the blind. So oftentimes when you improve and you become a different person than the person that you first were in your marriage or relationship, yes, your partners are going to leave you. And sometimes we do outgrow people. It's a sad truth. I won't take no less than respect. Yeah, don't take no less than respect. Good for you, Kathy. Many of us have been trained or conditioned. If in our family there was physical abuse, or we've been beaten, or our parents were very critical and judgmental and talked down to us, then we learn to replay those tapes. And we choose people in relationship that will mirror that for us, that are the same as our parents, because that feels safe. I know that sounds crazy, but it's familiar. And you know how to deal with that, versus what my clients will say if they grew up in an abusive home of any sort, or a neglectful home of any sort, is it feels weird when somebody's kind, or it feels weird when somebody's attentive. I've never had that before. That's bizarre. No, you are where you are from, you said. So I am Texas. Right? Okay, yeah. Who you are is a lot to do with where you were born and where you came from. And I mean where you came from in your family. Bye, Tanya. It's good to meet you or see you. So we're talking about unhealthy relationships and why we stay. We stay because we've been conditioned to stay. We stay because we've been taught you stay no matter what. You stick it out. You have two parents who were miserable. I've seen that in family members and aunts and uncles where they stuck together. They were in it for life, but they were miserable together. That's not what you deserve. You don't deserve to be in relationships that are unhealthy and toxic and sick. You've just learned to accept them as no other choice. So when we were talking about earlier with Sherry, I hear you, thanks, but now way too afraid to trust anyone. It starts with taking that risk. And I was talking to Sherry, is you don't stay where you're not wanted. You don't stay where you're not regarded. You don't stay, hi Laura, you don't stay where you're not valued. But when you're in relationship like that and you move on, you have to open up your mind that not the whole world is going to abuse me. Not every single person that I ever meet. Sometimes we repeat the pattern of abuse over and over again, and we start to believe that, I know I get preachy. I am preaching. James, I do preach. I preach all the time. Every time when I get passionate about something. When a person goes through a pattern of abuse over and over again, it's a learned behavior. That doesn't mean that's what you deserve. And it certainly doesn't mean that you can't break the cycle. You can break the cycle every time you leave a bad relationship. But to say to yourself, I can't trust and I will never trust and I'll never be in relationship and no one's ever going to meet my needs is unfair. It's actually unkind to yourself. Thank you, James. I left my relationship being single for over 2 years. Good. Kathy, sometimes we stay because we're afraid we can't make it out there. Absolutely. Right? Absolutely. Chris, codependent cycle. Amen. And you know, I did a talk on codependency. I think it was 2 weeks ago. And I spoke all about this. So this is another layer of it, is I'm just explaining why do we stay. But we don't have to stay. We don't have to stay in a broken situation. We stay because we think it's all we're worth. We stay because that's what we saw. We grew up seeing that and we believed it. And if we grew up in a beautiful home with perfect parents, but our first relationship was shitty because we picked a wrong, oh, I said it, sorry. We picked a person that wasn't good for us because we were young and innocent and dumb and blind, and we were like wooed and oohed by this person, then we didn't know any better, yes, but then we created a pattern of abuse and trauma for ourselves when that first partner was like that. I gotta say, my first marriage was like that. And I didn't have that abuse in my home, and yet I went and found it because this person was so charismatic and so charming, and I thought I was in love, and they, you know, bad boy from the other side of town, that kind of a feeling to it. And I fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. So a lot of times we're attracted to a person because they're the opposite of what we are. But that doesn't mean that's healthy for us. Somebody who's opposite to who we are can bring so much to the relationship. But if they are so far from where you are morally, spiritually, intellectually, and emotionally, it's a train wreck. That's what happens. It's a train wreck. And we stay because we're committed. And we stay because we've also been taught that it's not okay to leave, especially if you're married. And that's a commitment before God and our families. It's some heavy stuff. But bad boys aren't always bad for relationships. No, but they might be bad for me. But that's the unhealthiness, is choose what's good for you. Don't stay with what's bad for you just because it works for somebody else, right? Why is my typing adding stuck? I don't know, Laura. I don't know. I don't have technical support. I have Kelly Kettle, who's my social media guy and who'll post things. Oh my God, Michelle, hello. I just left you a voicemail. So I'm talking about unhealthy relationships. Maybe you know a thing or two about that. I don't know. Chime in, Michelle Itureria. So seriously, sometimes we stay because we're conditioned to stay. But I want to tell you, it's not just love relationships, it's friendships. Why we stay? Because we have enough income. Well, I think you're saying maybe you stay because you can't support yourself, you don't have enough income, or we stay out of fear. That is a common thing, and I hate to say I see it more in women than in men, where you stay because you're terrified of leaving because you don't know what your financial situation is going to be. Okay, you created a relationship where you would be dependent and trap yourself in such a way that you cannot leave. Absolutely, right, Belinda? So you also created a relationship where maybe you had an agreement, Chris, talking about like with young children. I'll talk about that. You had an agreement that you would be the stay-at-home mom or be the stay-at-home dad, and the other person was going to financially support you. That is a fabulous agreement. However, over time, maybe the partner, one or the other partner, starts to build resentment. I don't want to be the one who's carrying the whole financial load, or I don't want to be the one who's carrying the whole emotional support and care of the children. If these things aren't talked about, you guys start to drive miles apart from each other. And when resentment grows in a relationship, the relationship starts to go south and it sours. We have to communicate these things. But the truth is, if you're in a sick relationship where there's abuse, there's hostility or anger or disregard or disrespect, or maybe there's a severe alcoholic or addict in the home with children, you need to get out. You're raising your children in an environment that's teaching them how to be toxic and sick and how to tolerate a difficult, horrible, painful relationship. You got to figure that out. The hardest thing to do with young children is make a decision. What is in the best interest of the children? This will be hard. So I have grown up and in a family where we have longevity in our marriages. I was the first divorce in any generation of my family. Yay me. Woo. So, and I'm married now, and I've been married almost 30 years, okay? And what I'm saying is I did not choose well for myself. And did my family, did God, the universe, or the divine want me to stay in a relationship where I was crumbling and I was turning into a very sick and toxic person, because almost to the point of being suicidal because I felt so trapped and I felt so abused and disregarded? No. So if you're in that kind of relationship and you have children, you have to show them that their worth is everything. And it's more than a piece of paper that said, I married this person for life, because I don't think anyone can justify being in a sick relationship and abusing themselves and sacrificing themselves for what they say is the worth of the family, because what you're teaching that family is abuse. And those children learn abuse, and you keep passing it on forward. You guys agree, you disagree, you're thinking, what's going on? Just add in there. Michelle, you taught me to be a good friend. It all started by you showing me how to love myself. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. And Mary, my mother was married 5 times, never one good memory from any of them. I myself have never been married. I feel good about that, but also know I have cheated myself to break the cycle. Yes. I love the honesty too. By the way, remember, you're being honest with me. You're being honest with the entire public that is watching this right now. I'm not editing or deleting these comments. They are there live. Go for it. But if you don't feel comfortable with that, don't post on there. You can put a thumbs up or whatever, or thumbs down. Kids would rather come from a broken home than live in one. I agree with you 100%, Chris. 100%. And Belinda, I agree. And I'm glad you guys agree, but this is controversial, because if you're raised in a spiritual family, I'm not going to say even spiritual, a religious family, that's ideology is that that's a sin, or it's against God, or it's the worst thing that you could do to your family, then you don't get the support you need to leave the unhealthy relationships. Some of you are codependent, and go back and watch on YouTube or on my Facebook pages. The lecture I did on codependency is you're getting your needs met by taking care of someone who's not well. They might not be mentally well, physically healthy, they're an addict, an alcoholic, they're an abuser, they're in a severe psychotic state, suicidal, bipolar, whatever their story is, you're staying with them because you feel bad, because you feel guilty, because you feel it's your job to care for them. That is hard to say to someone who's in a marriage. No, it's not your job, because for better or worse, in sickness and in health, right? As long as that person is not abusing you, that in their woundedness and their brokenness and their disease, that they have now started to violate the core of who you are. Now we have a problem that goes beyond for better or for worse. So tell me what you think about that. It's okay to stay in a relationship with an addict who is willing to work on themselves and improve themselves and isn't dragging you down into a depression so bad that you become suicidal living with this person, okay? It's okay, and I understand it, but there's a line and a boundary where you say enough is enough. Crazy how the mind works. It is crazy how the mind works. Deborah has a comment. Hi, Deborah, not here. We both we're married 22 years, but through health problems, both of myself and one of children had to quit working. Been on my own with disabled adult son, which is incredibly challenging. For 9 years, struggled daily, but I didn't stay in relationship for fear of finances, but it is a struggle daily. That is amazing, Deborah. Amazing and courageous, and so many women would not do that, but you're role modeling for that son, especially that adult disabled child, to not ever let anyone abuse them, to not stay in a situation where someone is suffocating your spirit and they're breaking you, because we don't deserve that. None of us have done anything to deserve and earn to be abused in any way. And if your history says I was abused, that doesn't mean that your present has to live that. The story of abuse doesn't have to carry forward. Okay, Chris, crazy on the mind. Daryl, as long as you co-sign their behavior, it will continue. Daryl's 100% right, and we're speaking about addiction, but I want to say you can also speak about infidelity. You can also speak to not just an addict, an alcoholic, but a gambler, a shopper, a whatever, that's an addict of some sort, but also about infidelity too, is that you enable that behavior when it happens over and over and over again, and you do keep co-signing it, because the only power that you have is by leaving, the choice of leaving and saying, I will not tolerate this behavior anymore. That's how you break unhealthy. We stay with unhealthy because we've been taught, we've been conditioned, and our self-esteem has been wounded enough that we believe that's what we deserve. So your job is to work on you, on your esteem, to build love back into you. You have to love yourself in the way that no one ever has. So you will never allow anyone to love you less than what you deserve. And that's how you break the cycle of not staying in an unhealthy relationship. We always know when we're getting it right, and we always know when we're getting it wrong. And when you feel that sense of, I'm not supposed to be here, this isn't okay, this isn't good for me, you've got to do everything in your power and pull all the resources around you to help you get out. Because you don't deserve that. You don't deserve to live trapped, stuck, hurt, wounded, and broken. You do not. And if you're an addict and alcoholic who's now sober and in an abusive relationship now, you're at risk. You're at risk to go back out and relapse behind a sick and broken relationship. And I see that every day. I got a lot of comments, so I'm going to try to answer them. Shanita, that's why it's important to love yourself and to be okay being yourself if need be. I have another expression. Thank you, Chris. Amen. Love listening to you. Have a great night. Thank you, Julie. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it. I'm so glad you guys are here and engaging and supporting. Don't mean to be blunt, but 95% of relationships don't work if there is someone in active addiction. I have been there many times, and until I got out, I was not able to achieve 8 years. Amen to that. And so, amen to your 8 years. And yes, and in early recovery, y'all know you have no business being in relationship. You got to get right. You got to get your head right and get you right. By the grace of God or miracles that happen, some people have been able to navigate in early recovery, but the greatest relationship you got to heal is the one with you. And if you do that, you're a healthier person moving forward to attract a healthy person into your life instead of jumping into another sick relationship with someone that is just as sick as you are. You're both in a boat and neither one of you got any oars to stream down that stream with, but you're doing your very best. So thank you, Georgie. I'm glad you agree with that. Deborah, we had 3 sons and just verbally fought. Was better to split children, are adults now, and we remain friends. You did an amazing job. You were courageous, you were brave, and you broke the cycle. When you think you can't do it for you, and if you guys have children, do it for them. Do it so that they don't grow up believing that they have to be in a sick relationship because that's all what love is. That's all that's available to them. That's what a relationship looks like. It's not. And when you break out, you're saying, no, my child, we can do better. You can do better. You can live free from abusive relationships. Mary, by watching, listening, learning, and having you as my mentor, Gina, you're teaching me it is okay to express yourself, present and past. Thank you. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Tyra, for watching. Laura, I had to tell my ex to leave. He was addicted to women. Amen. If you're in a relationship with someone who keeps going out, maybe they're a sex and love addict. A cheater is 90% of the time a sex and love addict, unless it's a one-time thing with one person, and then you got to look at your relationship. Is something really broken in your relationship that drove this person out? That could be true too, and that's a painful truth for us to look in the mirror. But if it's a pattern and repeated pattern of behavior, they may have an addiction to that. They like the idea of getting caught. They like the idea of being in trouble. They like the idea of mystery. They like the idea that they're breaking the rules. That is an emotionally immature person. That's a person who hasn't grown up yet. You're in relationship with a teenager. And good luck with that. It's hard enough to raise one. It's hard enough to be a teenager, let alone be married to one. And you all don't deserve that. You deserve to be in a relationship with an adult. And if you made an agreement and a commitment to each other that you would be faithful, then you're breaking all those rules. And if you accept it over and over again, with that person never either going into therapy with you or pastoral counseling or something to show a change in that behavior, they're never going to change because they're showing you with their behavior that it's always going to be the same. So yes, walk off, Laura. You did good. Jamie, can't give love until you can love yourself. 100%. Georgie, that's when I relapsed. My ex was very abusive and I started to use again. You guys, that is such a common story. Julie, hi, Julie. I'm good. I'm glad you're chiming in with us here. Unhealthy relationships, why we stay. I really have talked quite a bit about why we stay. I've said a little about how you get out, but you know what? Good for you, Georgie, for getting out. Never accept abuse. Never accept anything less than nurturing. Don't. And I have the wonderful woman in this field that's a mentor, has written many books, Pia Melody, and her statement was always, trauma is anything less than nurturing. And that opens up a whole world for all of us when we go, I don't have any trauma. I wasn't abused or molested or beaten, physical, emotional, spiritual abuse, but we had a whole lot of less than nurturing. Now you can kind of understand why you choose less than nurturing in your relationships, right? Shanita, my husband did all that and I left after 15 years. Now I'm very happy. Yay, Shanita. Shout out for Shanita and Georgie, my gosh, and Julie, Belinda. What if a person makes more money, pays all the bills, but if you want a divorce but not have enough income, what are something you can do to better yourself? Well, I actually have a client in this situation right now. I actually have a few clients and one in particular. And the one thing is get yourself right and get yourself straight. You can go to a mediator or you can call a legal assistant, a legal shield, legal counsel for a one-time only phone conversation that maybe doesn't cost you anything. You can state that you're going to interview a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer, so I can't give legal advice, but I've walked people through finding resources and that I can do. And you call a lawyer and you say, look, here's my situation. What's the best scenario for me financially? And in the meantime, you need to start building a resume. You need to find work that's sustainable for you. It might not be the money your spouse makes, but if you're going to keep staying because they're financially supporting you, you're going to keep accepting abuse in your life. And you know what? You're not happy. You might be in a nice house, you might be driving a nice car, but when you lay your head down at the end of the night, you're miserable. You're in pain, you're suffering, and you feel like your life is passing you by. None of us deserves that. None of us deserves to live like that. So we have to make the effort to make it better. You can go to a counselor who will start helping you with tools, a life coach. You can go to in the community centers, they have these re-entry programs for people like moms who have been moms for many years and haven't been back to work for many years. You need to look up resources for, mothers returning to work kind of a thing, but they call it reentry in my area, and I can't think of exactly. I'll think some more, and if I think of it, I'll text it to you. But you look for resources that say, I need to rebuild my career, a career counselor. I need coaching. And bottom line is, I need to be willing to live with less. I need to accept less in my life financially so that I know I have peace of mind. So that my spirit wakes up happy because I don't feel like I'm being controlled or committed to someone that I no longer have feelings for, that I don't love and that I don't respect. So when you do that, you're elevating yourself by respecting yourself. And you know what? Maybe you split with this person and that person finally starts to change because you're no longer there enabling their sick behavior. How about that? Because that would be maybe an added bonus. And maybe you leave and you finally realize, I'm liberated. I've been living trapped. I've been like a bird in a cage for all these years. And oh my God, I can finally fly free. Julie, I'm out, but it sure was hard. Hell yeah, it's hard. Not just Julie, but everyone else who said they left Georgie and a few others. I'm happier now. It's best that my 24-year marriage ended. We were both unhappy, went through the pain to get to the other side. Hardest thing I've ever done. Hell yeah, Julie. Shout out to Julie. Georgie laid in bed next to every night, but still felt alone. That is the worst feeling in the world, and that's what I was doing in my first marriage, is just laying with a person and feeling utterly alone, like miserably frightened and alone. Because that person felt miles away from me and they were laying right next to me, and I couldn't reach them emotionally. We had gone in such very different directions, and I no longer felt safe. Deborah would like those resources too. I will. The name isn't coming to me, but there's like reentry. So on college campuses, like out here at our community college, there's a section of the school that has like a community center, a counseling center that they call reentry. And it's to help women and men who haven't been working for different, whatever reasons, divorce, raising kids, disabilities, to re-enter into society, kind of to get some education and some on-the-job counseling training to help them to reintegrate into the world. And bottom line is, if you have to get a job that's just temporary, that just pays bills, isn't like your dream job, you can start by just doing that. Going to your local grocery store or Starbucks or department stores or whatever, places that they're always hiring, to just get a temporary job while you go back into something like this reentry in the college to learn what is your passion. You probably put your passion to bed when you got in this sick relationship and you're enabling and supporting this other person who's maybe growing and thriving in their own right. And you put all your dreams away. Unpack those. Unpack your dreams, pull them out and say, what did I want to be before I became this person's lapdog in a sense, or I became this person's mother or caregiver or carekeeper? What the heck did I want to be and do? What were the dreams that I dreamed? And don't sit there and tell me you're too old. I hate that, because I'm getting old. And I'm going to go on a little mini triathlon this Sunday with my friend Jeannie, who's not watching, and I'm going to call her out. And that's insane. I haven't trained for that. I exercise every day. I have not trained, but you know what? It's on my bucket list. So even if I have to drag myself, walk my bike, doggy paddle, I'm going to show up on Sunday and do this damn thing, because it was a dream. I know I'm nuts. Who the heck dreams about things like that? Like, who wants to do that on a Sunday morning? Instead of watching TV and cuddling with your freaking dogs and having some coffee. That's a Sunday morning dream. I'm putting that on my bucket list next. Dream your dreams. Unpack those things and say, if I didn't materialize these dreams during this relationship, it's because this relationship doesn't support my dreams. And I need a relationship that does. Don't you think so? Tell me what you think about that. I like that idea. So mine has supported my dreams. I'm here. I'm living a dream right now. He's downstairs, got to feed himself, take care of the dogs, listen to me up here, give me my privacy while I'm here locked away for an hour. Live with someone who loves you for your dreams, who wants you to dream and dream bigger, okay? I love it. Georgie, Deborah, resources, thank you so much. Got to pick up my son. Thank you, Deborah, for listening. Laura, I am 60 years older. 20 of those years, been single for years. My boys were good. I did get praying out loud. Amen. So I'm hearing that Laura was a struggle and she spent a lot of years in that, but she got herself out. That's what I'm preaching. Why we stay? Don't stay. You know why we stay? We talked about trauma, repeating patterns, not believing in ourselves, having low self-esteem. My cousin Diana's watching. I'm almost at the end here, girl, but I'm going to stay for a few minutes. Julie, I'm older too, girl. We got to keep going. Yes, you have to keep going because what's better for you is ahead, not behind. What you left behind is no longer your business. You weren't meant to be there. You were meant to move forward in every aspect of your life. Career, children, marriages, spiritual work. You're always meant to elevate, to move forward, to gain, and to prosper. And that's not always financial. That's spiritual. But if it's financial too, then amen to that too, right? Because we all want to do well and feel safe and feel supported financially. But we can't get into a thing where I'm a guy, so I'm supposed to be this role, and I'm a girl, so I'm supposed to be that role. Because we're in, 2018, don't you know? And we all can do whatever we need to do to be the person that we need to be healthy for ourselves. And if our partner is not bringing the love and bringing the support spiritually, financially, and emotionally, that might not be the partner for you for the rest of your life. You're not living your life's purpose. You're not living your life's dream. Well, sit down and have a conversation. Are they beyond redemption? Is this someone who's so ill, is so toxic, is either abusive, physically, emotionally, spiritually, morally, is addicted and unwilling to get help and never has? Then you have got to break free. You were not meant to live in a cage and imprisoned. Sorry about my typing. No worries, Laura. I'll try to decipher. I'm terrible with that typing too, so I'm glad I get to talk to you and not type. Daryl, courage is not the absence of fear, yes, but the willingness to walk through it. Courage is the knowledge of fear and the ability to walk through the fear. Absolutely 100%. Adel, true. Thank you. So you guys, don't stay where you're not wanted. Don't stay where you're not welcome. Don't stay where you're not respected and regarded. I had someone sitting in my office today and they say, well, I want a princess, but you know what? I'm a prince. And I'm like, right on, right? And if he's watching, he knows I'm talking about him. That's how you should feel walking into any relationship. So if you've walked yourself into a relationship, it's your one life. Enjoy it and don't put up with no bull. That's my cousin Mimi preaching right there. That's what we do in my family. We all preach. So you are very courageous, Julie. You walk, you pack your bags. Don't stay where you are not wanted. That is the moral of the story. Live in relationships that you want to celebrate, that you feel celebrated in, that you feel cherished, nurtured, loved, honored, and respected. Will you get all of your needs met 100% by your partner always? No, that's a fantasy, okay? Sherry, it felt like a death happens when I was divorced. Yeah, I didn't get up from bed for... I don't want to remember. It was a long time ago. I know 3 days for sure I couldn't move. And the only thing that got me out of my bed was hearing something tragic had happened to him. And it got me up out of my bed for a minute. But it's an absolute death. It doesn't just feel like a death. It is a death. Anything that ends is a death. That has died. That has finished. It is gone from us now. And we have to grieve. And grieving just shows that you honor and you honored, you respected, you loved that person no matter what they did. And that's just showing who you are morally. who what your spirit is full of, right? So feel good about yourself that you grieved and say, that means that I was dedicated to this, but I don't have to live with a person who isn't as dedicated to me as I am to them. That's the part you got to get. Arnie, I now live separately with my husband, but not divorced. My life is ruined. My heart is broken, and now trying to put my pieces back. So you're not divorced yet, but you're separated. That's what I'm hearing. There's a reason you separated. And it's like when you separate from a marriage, it feels like cutting off your right arm or your left arm if you're left-handed. Great words of wisdom. Thank you. 4 days of sobriety, Albert. You get it. You hang on to that. You stay with it. You don't give up. Relapse is not a requirement. You could stay sober today for this minute, for 5 minutes, for 20 minutes, for 1 day at a time, every day, 1 day at a time. So Arnie, listen, you were courageous and you were brave. Sometimes if you're sick and you have something broken or infected in your body, you got to go to the doctor and they got to amputate it, or they got to pull it out, or they got to fix it, or surgically remove it, or implant something else to help you function. That's what a sick relationship is like. That surgery hurts. And I've been through multiple surgeries now, and I'm going to tell you, it hurts. And the recuperation hurts. But when I'm recuperating, I tell myself, I am healing right now. This pain is healing. This pain is teaching me what I'm made of. This pain is telling me that I'm brave and that I'm courageous and that I can do anything, because I'm tolerating this freaking pain. It is painful to leave. It is painful to divorce, to separate. But something in us knew we weren't getting it right. We always know, we always know when we're getting it right, and we always know when we're getting it wrong. And when we're getting it wrong, it is up to us to pack ourselves and move forward in life. We can cry while we're doing it, grieve while we're doing it, seek support, counselors, therapy, pastors, preachers, friends, loved ones who can support you while you separate, while you move, while you rebuild your life, because you're saving yourself. And you will be a better person to another relationship. My mic turned off. I hope it turned back on, Beth. It looks like the internet went out for a second. So you let me know, because I didn't switch the mic. Somebody give me a thumbs up. Mary or Beth. Anyways, I hope you heard that. I did lose internet service, but you did the right thing. Don't leave yourself where you're broken. Don't stay in sick relationships. You don't deserve that. None of us deserves that. And your life will never change until you can say to yourself, I deserve better. I deserve and have the right to be loved and respected no matter what. Thank you, Mary. And thank you, Jody. Thank you, Beth. Yeah, the internet went out for a second, so I just stayed quiet. So I hope you heard that. Thank you, Elisa. I hope you heard that, Arnie. And I hope you're all listening to my little preach here about don't stay where you're not wanted. Thank you. Ask me questions, send comments. We're almost at 10 of. Usually I do these about 30 to 45 minutes. I want to know, what do you want to talk about? Thank you, Julie. This came out of a conversation with a friend of mine. First time watching, need a call or prayer. Hey, Albert. Thank you. Do you need a call or do I need a call? Do you need a prayer? We all need prayer. Give it up for Albert. Albert is staying sober today. Pray, get on your knees every morning, humble yourself, and believe in a power greater than yourself that can restore you to sanity. Believe that you have the right to heal. Believe that you can stay sober 1 day at a time, and that's all that you have to do to heal that brain, to release every toxin that you've ever put in your body, to cherish the temple that is your body and love it and respect it, just like every person that you bring into your life. Love and respect is what you deserve. Love, kindness, compassion. That's what I tell my staff. When you want to intervene with a client, I don't want to hear what they're doing wrong, or I don't want you ridicule, belittle, chastising. Love, kindness, and compassion. Right, Mary? You know, because I preached it. I preached to my staff too. So prayers, everyone, up for our buddy. And thank you so much, Albert and Sherry. You go, Albert. If you have any questions or comments, everyone, thank you for listening. Kelly, my social media guru, is pinning our name at the bottom, our numbers. I'm on Ask Gina. I'm on Harmony Heals Detox and Rehab. You can messenger me. Get on your knees numerous times daily. Take that break and learn to love and love again. You are a beautiful soul. Amen, Leah. Give that up, girl. I love this part. Me too. I love this part too. And Julie, yay, Albert. Send love. Albert, you're getting all kinds of love. I'm sending my love too. I believe in all of you and your right to heal and your right to embrace your preciousness. Good night. From the UK, Isabel. Every Thursday night right here. Thank you, Lynn. I love you so much for supporting me every week. I love that. And it truly heals my heart. I want you to know that, you guys. It means a lot to me that you stay with me through this. And it was a vision. And you're part of my dream now. So thank you for being part of my dream. Every Thursday night, Harmony Heals Detox. If you don't see it on Harmony Heals Detox, it's on Harmony Heals, which is my counseling center, or on Ask Gina. You can always find me there. Thank you so much, Sherry. I'm so glad you tuned in and spoke up, and bless your heart, and Daryl too. Peace and love to all of you. I hope to see you next Thursday, and God bless you all. Have a great night. Night, Elisa. I gotta see you soon. All right? Take care. Bless you. Love you, Mary. Thank you, Arnie. Thank you so much. Thanks for listening. Have a good night, y'all. Love you.